Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am here with my April series that I just started this week, Leftovers to Layouts. Now this layout right here is from 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life, and I used a Uptown Flair paper pad. And I only had a little bit left when I was done with my layout, so I decided I would hold on to that and create another layout for this month, because I've decided I'm going to pull out all the collections, paper pads, embellishments that I just have a little bit of this or a little bit of that left over, or embellishments that have no paper, or paper with no embellishments, whatever it is, and I'm going to use it. So I have these little round bits here that were the leftovers from that layout. And then I have this one 12 by 12. That's all of the whole paper that I have left from this paper pad. So I want to get all this used up, or as much as I can. These are the embellishments that I had pulled to use for that layout and had some things left over when I was done. So I decided that I would use those to make another layout. And so I'm trying to use up my stash as well as all these partial collections so that I can get them out of my stuff and get new things. So, or just use them, period. So I have these two pictures from my daughter's birthday. Yes, I love that picture. That will go with the other layout. So I've got the leftovers from this paper pad, these embellishments, my two pictures. So let's see how this goes. So first things first, I'm going to take all of these papers that are left over. I've already trimmed my white cardstock to an 11.5 by 11.5 because I wanted to make sure I had a border from that polka dot paper. Now, normally, would I gut that polka dot paper that's back there and have that extra bit? Yep. But what's the point of this? To use up the leftovers. Now, if I thought I had enough to do another layout, maybe I would have, but I want to get this stuff used. And if it's a solid, then it's a whole lot easier to maneuver them in and out of my albums and stuff. So I went ahead and just attached my paper down without gutting the back. And that's okay. Now, when I got started, I thought if I need something more like another pattern, then I will gut it and use that. So what I've done so far is I've cut the 11.5 by 11.5 solid white cardstock. I cut a 4.5 by 4.5 of that striped paper. I cut a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 of that little wonky rectangle, 2 of each of those. So those are going to be my mats for my pictures. And then what I have left over, anything that's big enough for a 1.5, 2, or 2.5 inch tag, I'm cutting that out. And then this one little bit of scrap that I have left over from that stripy paper, I'm actually going to toss. I know, some people should be proud of me who don't like all my scraps. I'm not naming names. So this is what I have left. I have these two rings, the circle, and then of course the things that I've cut down for my pictures. So I decide that I'm going to go with, I wanted to space everything out to where, I have places to put the mixed media, because on the other layout I had mixed media that was kind of inside and outside of the circle. So I wanted to do that. I'm using my Dress My Craft tag maker to make tags out of all of my little bits and pieces. I think I have 2 that are 2 inches, and the rest of them are 2.5 inches, which is as big as this tag maker will go. I typically make tags on my Cricut, but if I, am in a hurry, or if this type of tag works for me and that size works for me, then I'll create it this way. So at first I'm going to tuck these 2 in here, and this is all I was going to do. But then I had one more piece, and I thought I would, instead of trying to find a home for this last little tag, I ended up using it on both sides. So I'm going to cut the tag again and then cut it in half. And then my plan, this is the way I roll, guys. The plan was I was going to tuck one here and one here. And I really like that because the way the stripes are on the background paper, it was going to be opposite the tag, so that would have given it a little more interest. So this is me being lazy and just taking my spun sugar right across the edge of my 11.5 by 11.5 paper. And I've already tacked it down with some double-sided tape off camera. And now I'm going to splatter wilted violet, spun sugar, and picked raspberry, which are the same 3 colors that I used on my other layout. So since they'll be facing in my 2016 book, then that will be good. I don't typically do like a 12 by 24 layout unless it's for like a hop or something. I normally will have bits and pieces from each layout on the other. So here I'm doing the exact same thing except with crushed, Concord grape. It's purple, guys. It's purple, but I think it's a Concord one. Oh, goodness. You know, I did just do this layout. Now, while you're watching this, it's been a month since I did this layout, but I did just do this layout. Anyway, so now that I have splattered and my splatters are drying, I am going to put these circles down. And normally I would not be doing this on camera, but obviously I did. So I'm using Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to get these down. The top of this paper, you've got to use Nuvo on this. It's got glittery specks all over it, and it will not hold even the Scotch ATG. It does not keep it together because of that glittery bit. So I found that out when I pulled the layout out to do the voiceover, and there was a corner coming up, and I was like, what? So, yep. If you have any texture and stuff on your paper, I strongly suggest you use a wet glue. So I moved my pictures over. In the original way I had it set up, the pictures were touching at the corners. And when I redid it, they aren't. And so instead of putting the little mini tags to the right and left of the pictures, they are now tucked into the little circular bit. I'm perfectly fine with that. I love it. It's a little busy, but I'm okay with that because this paper's busy. This paper pad I usually use to document my grandmother because it's bright and shiny, and there was tons of flowers and floral pages in this collection, or in this paper pad. But we are at my grandmother's house, so if that counts. So now I am just taking some of the embellishments that I used on the other layout and putting those around. So I'm adding this little purple flower. It's from the Paper Studio, and I just cut it in half so I could put it in 2 different places. And then I have another one that I put down at the bottom and put in very similar places. So they're just a little bit of purple peeking out. So I am excited about getting some of those used up because I have an entire like 12 by something bag, like with those Ziploc bags that you get your paper collections in, full of florals. But they're wonky colors, so it's hard for me to use on a normal, they don't always match, obviously, the collections. So I was excited that some of these were going to work for this collection. Like that bright, dark pink, shiny flower, that came from one of the dollar store embellishments, and I have a couple more of them, but they're just really odd colors. I'll find a way to use them though. I'm pretty good at that. So I add some butterflies because I have butterflies on my other layout as well, and these match actually pretty well with the collection. I was pretty excited about that. I did add a brad in one of the tag holes. Other than that, I add these little, and they're not enamel dots. They are like a puffy sticker. I add that, and then I was trying to figure out where to put my title because I was going to put this on my other layout, but it wasn't going to fit. So I decided to save it for this one, which made it more appropriate anyway because my father is making such a goofy face only for my daughter. I mean, he acts like such a fool for his grandkids, seriously. So in the end of my layout, this is all that I have left of this paper pad. Everything else is gone. I will find a way to use that. Not a problem. I am super excited that this is now done. I will put that in a scrap drawer, or actually probably try and put that on a layout here soon. And here is the close-ups. I love how this turned out next to the other one, which I'll pull out as well. It makes me so happy. So I am recording this a whole month beforehand. I did ask if anybody wanted to join me. So if people are joining me and gave me their links, I will have them below. And I hope you'll come along with me this month. I don't know how often I will be posting, but I'm going to try at least 3 or 4 times a week to post these. I have lots of leftovers that totally need to be turned into layouts. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Please use your stash and happy scrapping.